Kimberly, thank you so much for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info. Welcome to the 17th October 2023 edition of the... You've been having a great time, yes? Yes, now. You've been listening to us, and it's been great conversation from Morning Crossfire Show, What's Happening in Abuja, and the Sunnyside Show wrapped up with the Vocal Majesty. Well, yours truly is reporting for duty, and I'll be here till 7 p.m., joined by Itodo any second now. Together, we'll take you through some of the biggest driving conversation we'll talk about now. We'll get your eyewitness report as we bring you update, breaking news, develop stories from now till 7 p.m. It will be amazing, I promise you. And we've got a very amazing guest on the roundtable. Try and come and, contain mic and all whatnot. But gentleman, Itodo is here. Hi, Itodo, how are you?
Hi, Kim. I'm good. How are you?
All right,
Fantastic.
I'm good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I don't know how Itodo does it. He's always black. Black look like it's different colors every single day.
This is it.
How do you work that magic?
I don't know. Give you the magic. No? Can't give you the secret, right?
Before you start seeing me in black,
You have to attend the master class.
I
to get
know,
that.
right?
Everything in Nigeria right now has to have
monetize.
Exactly.
I have the national cake. You can have other cakes. I see you. Welcome, though. And yes, this is where we officially welcome you to Fact. I'm Kimberly Wachko. Call me Kim, the Oracle, the Digital Oracle, OTF, the Madam Speaker, Ochanya Wan. Say yes to them all. The Dickon Itodo is here.
Welcome to the show. Another Tuesday to get into trending conversations in the country, and that's something about Nigeria you have to learn. So it's something new every other day. We are new every morning. So,
Indeed. But here's something that isn't particularly new, but we're still talking about it, and that's the conditional cash transfer, and that's the story we're starting with. But first, let's introduce ours. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce you.
Sound effect.
Yeah, I know, right? The one and only Mayor Fortune Agula here.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's awesome to be with you guys this afternoon.
When you came into the studio, the wrong urge, maybe because of the way you're dressed. Yeah, it's usually just casual rolling, except you're an event.
Just
but then he came in look formal with his tie. I wanted to say good afternoon, sir.
Which is not too
that's
out of place.
allowed.
Yeah.
Very
not allowed.
absolutely.
So if I refer to you as sir, just understand where he's coming from.
Well, it's not wrong, I tell you. Well, it's great to be with you guys.
Thank you so much. Fon Agula is a broadcaster, and he'll be helping us with some of the big stories driving conversation in Nigeria. And I know we mentioned this yesterday, but also bringing it back, given the fact that at the Federal Executive Council meeting, the federal government launched the renewed whole cash transfer scale-up program with 15 million Nigerians to get 5,000 each for 3 months. And we did talk yesterday about the loan that getting also from the World Bank and the IMF, which is another company aside from the 800 million as we're getting another 400 million coming in, and from the one for conditional cash transfer alone, we got 1.2 billion dollars coming from there. And this extra one now is this one that the president talked about. Independence said 50 million families, 25,000 for 3 months to just in the effect. And is in line with their renewed hope agenda, according to them. And people have been thinking about what this really means. 3 months, 5K at least is not 5,000.
No, it's not. It's not 5K. It's 25.
How low? 25,000 in a month for an average family. Just is that how well it'll come?
So it depends, and you look at people and their earning powers. You look at the reality today.
Yeah.
If someone, for instance, works a place where they get paid 30,000 naira, and then they have to spend 600 to 800 naira every day on transport, it means their salary is basically a transport. So if you think about it, and you are putting, the people you are putting into that the poorest of the poor, people literally earn below $1 a day kind of thing, then what we're talking about is basically like a scratch of the surface. But the truth is, I still think it's better than nothing. Even though we've been in Nigeria where conditional cash transfer has been handled before by members of the same political party, people with same political ideologies and all of that, and we saw how you could optics with these sort of situations, and the people who it should get to may not really enjoy the best of it. So I just hope that there's a better strategy in the distributions and all of that, and that by the end of the 3 months we can be talking about a sustainable way of alleviating,
Poverty.
poverty and dealing with the issues. Because I have a problem with a culture we have in Nigeria where it looks like every problem we want to solve, believe if you throw money at it to be solved.
To go away.
Yeah. You just, the people were kidnapped. The governor or his wife reaches there, gave them 1 million. Have you solved the problem? Those kinds of, so that's, I think we and the government understands that by our conditioning, once people hear that the government is give out money, it will buy some time. So I just hope this is a ploy to just buy some. I hope there is a plan that at this 3-month period, we can say that we are now alleviating.
But what would you say are some of these sustainable options that we can expect? Because 3 months might seem like a long time, but it's not.
So we have things like the direct areas where some of these issues are coming from. Our food inflation is over 30% right now, and all of that. When global food prices are dropping, ours is going up in the country. Why? Because there's no structure. You can't get food from one place to another, at a reasonable cost. And so because of that, it gets and it's more expensive and we produce within the country. So food is landing in Nigeria at cheaper costs than food is moving within Nigeria. So deal with infrastructure. If the food is arriving and it's cheaper, then if I had 25,000 in a place where I didn't have it before, now I can afford something for my family. But if we have kinds of figures coming. We're hitting 30% inflation, food inflation. Generally, inflation 26 point something. I think I saw right now, 26
plus September.
You understand?
No, yes.
September,
Between September and now, it's gone from 22 to about 6. So if you look at it, of the things we need to do are like, one stuff, infrastructure, deal with harvest losses, pressed foods. What can we do to shelf life longer? What can we do to take more people subsistence into actual mechanized farming? Produce more.
When you talk about sustaining, some states come to mind. It feels like in season, food go to surplus of it is cheap and it goes to waste. And then when we're off that set, it becomes very steep. Yes, naturally it's supposed to be, but we allow a lot of waste for a country
that produces so much.
Yeah, where we're even talking about hunger levels pretty high, poverty level is high. We haven't really put on our thinking caps
in that area,
on a national scale to see how we can preserve some of these things.
That's the issue. And so until we start coming up with solutions to problems, rather than just put some money there and let's see how we can buy some time. Put some money there. Okay, so after 3 months, we come up with another name. It was conditional transfer before. Then later we say, it's structural something. Or, that's not the issue.
But saying that we've gone down this route before, and it doesn't as though we've learned any lessons from what we've done. Initially, it was 5,000 naira given to vulnerable women or children that are put together. And now the tag has increased to 25,000, even though the confusion right now is what happens to the funds of the states. There's a 5 billion. We had 2 billion given to them first to get it. Some states decided to give cash, some decided to give food item, all that. What makes that different? Would it be a different set of vulnerable Nigerians who will make up this new 15 million?
Exactly, that we are trying to
things who are just benefiting both ways.
So you see, we threw billion at the same problem just a few weeks ago. Now we're talking about throwing more money in without a structure to determine how these needs become solutions, rather than just how they just solve her for a day. I mean, every one of us since we were born have been eating. We have never woken up on a particular said, you know what, I'm not going to eat today again because I've been eating for 40 years. Because hunger is not just solve a problem of hunger, just like you have not solved the problem. You have to find a sustainable way of keeping hunger at bay. So for instance, we spoke about buses. Right. We spoke about helping the transportation, and all of that. Incentive local industries and say, okay, what? Increase your production capacity, give us so and so kinds of these in different places. Let's put in factories here, and here. 6 geographical zones, put a new factory everywhere, and let's do some CNG buses, reduces that crashes transportation. Yeah. You have solved a problem, and this is where the money is getting are going. Transport, food, clothing, shelter, for instance. What is average rent for people in any part of the FCT right now? I was in Agula recently, and I mean, just somebody, and they're talking about renting a house in Agula for over 1 million naira.
That's another conversation. What is even regulating right now?
What happens is it a 1-bedroom, a duplex?
Agula.
sir. Whatever this apart is, you get my point.
Yeah.
So when you put these realities side by side with what we're talking about, we're just throwing money into a bottomless pit. That's what I think.
So why are we doing this? Because it seems to keep going back and forth. We would say 3 months and 6 months, we will get to that point. We decide to give cash to calm the nerves
and everything. So hunger is also a very good one. When you are in politics, when you're in politics, hunger is a very important weapon. As far as you keep the people hungry, you determine what their decisions will be. So, if it becomes so self-sufficient, everybody's okay. What's the difference between Lagos and Abuja, for instance? In Abuja, everybody waits for government policy, waits for what's happening in the ministries. Lagos, people get up and grind. Difference. I'm not saying we're not all in Nigeria, but Lagos is a bit more Nigeria than Abuja, if you ask me. You get so there's, and then people really, we're getting more aware and all of that, we're getting more involved, but people don't care what the government is doing if they know that they're empowered to do what they can do. And these are some of the things I believe kept us where we are, where the leaders basically know that we can get these people literally out of poverty, but if we do, then by what means we hold on to them? By what means we have control over their will, over thoughts and everything? I think, Billy, that's what is underlying all of it.
And just before we move away from this, I think it's something also fortunately mentioned in passing where it feels like people are also asking, okay, 3 months, 20,000 to families. Are you giving assurance that in 3 months' time, things would improve, the purchasing power of the average person would improve enough to cope? It feels like, like a shark smelling blood and taste blood. Yeah. And then 25,000 above they usually would earn and spend, and they take it away from them after 3 months. If conditions have not improved, is that complicating the matter of helping it at this point? Because I can just imagine adding like maybe 100K extra, and then you go away from me after 3 months, and the conditions are the same.
My appetites have improved. I
have changed my. I have changed.
In some places, 100 marry you a new wife. You get what I mean?
Exactly.
So now, if you think about, look into picture. Israel is hitting Gaza. Gaza is not slowing down on Ukraine.
Yeah.
Crude oil prices are going to go up. With all of this happening, the Middle East is in so Lebanon is trying to hit on this. Yeah. Egypt is trying. All of these oil producing areas and all of that, they're into crude oil price is going to go up. If subsidy has truly been taken and it's no an issue, because I know that the prices have been quite stable for long. We're wondering how are these prices stable with all this. Somebody is helping somewhere. Maybe the former President Abacha is still sending us money, but so crude oil prices are going to go up. Economic indices are showing that they're not exactly going to ease up very soon. It means that in 3 months, not trying to be, like a prophet on board, it doesn't look likely that out of this quagmire in 3 months just yet. It means that what you are talking about is something we should be preparing for. That's why I spoke about it in the beginning. I hope that it's not just us throwing money at a situation just to, buy something and see how it go. Because some of the things we spoke about before was, we're not going to be paying so much anymore. Even though the coordinating minister of the economy has spoken how, some of the monies we're borrowing are,
okay, let's go for a quick break. We'll take this after the break. Stay with us.
On #1 station for talk, Nigeria. This is Nigeria Info.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories having conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Facts Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Talking about how, so we may be talking about how the loan we've got, at minimal interest rate, almost zero, is negligible and all of that. But you and I know that where zeros and dots are concerned, not so much is negligible. When we're talking about something about 800 million naira, for instance, say we took, 10% out of it, that's just 80 million that you took out. That's left there is 720 million.
Still plenty of money.
That's a lot of money. So where you are talking dot zeros, negligible can be very, very relative. What is it? What does this, translate to? One of the loans talking about that the coordinating minister also talking about is the one that is to be used, the Ekiti Knowledge Zone.
Yeah.
$80 million for the Ekiti Knowledge Zone. Be very relative, So I'm wondering why that became a national priority. I'm having to take that loan and all. So I mean, if you ask me where the industry really is Aba Knowledge Zone, not in Aba. So there, you see all of these shenanigans happen, and then you're wondering, are we doing based on priority, or are we doing it because, well, you know what, there's no other way to go. Let's just get money. Just get it. Okay, give it a reason. Find a way. Just get it.
Just justify
it and collect. So I just hope, well, that things get better. But in 3 months, I don't see things getting much better than this, and I don't see 25,000 changing the lot of people, in those 3 months. I probably would have preferred that you draw these people into it, find out what their strengths are, give them incentives to them do, cut down on some of those taxes that take away from their resources that they can provide for themselves. Stuff that is long-term and can be measured. At the end of the day, how do you measure? We've done conditional cash transfer before. How do you measure the outcomes?
And it's one that Nigerians have zero confidence in the credibility of process. So that's another hurdle to mount, to convincing people that indeed the intention and the right people who are poor and vulnerable are getting this. But with the 3 months, we could come up with, all right, a refinery in Port Harcourt might be operational, and Dangote will also be up. But would it even change the price of petrol in Nigeria? I don't know. NNPC has told us even if all our refineries are working, the price will not change. Well, we'll cross that, we get there. To see all of the abilities for the average Nigerian at the end of the day. And going even by the content of care coming in, a lot of people would rather you did something else with that money than what you're doing, because we do not trust is going to be impact at the end of the day.
But following that up, we're going to be getting the Iyaloja funds, which would give 50,000 naira to petty traders, which is
that's trader money 2.0.
Exactly. Then there's also the one for farmers as well, to boost their farm yields.
That's Anchor Borrowers Program 2.0.
Repetition of the same that not necessarily made any difference.
And I warn Nezra people, if you collected, come and pay now, back. People did not even know that they were supposed to. I know someone who added money.
It's a loan.
Well, there was an argument whether it was a loan grant at the time. That argument has always been there. That somebody will have the mind to go. Can you ever take a bank loan for a thing and then go and buy a car and nothing? Does anybody need to announce on radio that come and bring you back? If due diligence was done, do we need anyone to say, those who took the loan? Been a head count of those who took the loan? Do you have documents?
Documentation.
Do you have? Did you do your due diligence? If you did, it's not a matter for conversation. There is no loan that you give out, and I say that I work in a mortgage system. There is no loan that you give out that you do not something on the ground in case that loan is paid. What was put on the ground? So,
but then given the fact at that time, it felt like it was an intervention. COVID happened, that's business was grounded. Let's help you, help us.
Exactly my point.
Poor documentation and
even the communication of what the intent of that fund was a problem. And that we have these disparities now. Everybody is saying, well, was it not okay, let me go back and check my text messages. What did they share? And stuff like that. It's basically a lot of politics.
But how would they get this money? Like that man that added money and bought cars.
You have a BVN that links to all your accounts. So once you have any money, any funds in your account, deductions in chunks or pieces, you'll pay back one way or the other.
Simple. So you have to get the money back. When the federal government during presidential time spoke about dormant account, did they need to come to your house? If your money is dormant and you have not used the money for a while, we will take it.
Was it 10 years?
Yes. We will take the money and use it. They didn't need you to sign for them to take it. It means the government can take what it wants to take. So why are we, going and forth, sounding like we don't know where we are? So I think basically some of these statements are made also to try to save face. Yeah, we've messed up, but there's a way you sound and it's like you are trying to find your way back, right? I just think that's what's happening.
All right, and we're talking about more of the big stories driving conversation. I particularly am still stunned by the strong allegation made by Minister to the United Nations. The hustle us, you're paying us to donor agency and collect on our behalf and sitting on it. Let's get the details. So, I think we're also going to play her people.
Yeah. All right, so she's vowed to file a lawsuit against the United Nations, allegedly not disbursing funds meant for Nigeria. She made this known during a press conference in Abuja on Monday. According to her, the world's governing body obtained some funds of the country without remitting them. She then said the UN has failed to provide ministry with necessary records and legal action will be taken against the Antonio Guterres-led institution on or before November 15th if the situation remains the same. She went on to state or reveal rather the exact amounts the UN allegedly received on behalf of Nigeria or what the funds were designed to address. So that's pretty much what happened.
From the horse's mouth, because, it sounded very serious, like the United Nations, all of them. I have never been stunned in my life like that, but let's take a listen.
And I stand here as the Minister of Foreign Affairs to demand from all the UN, we want out of all the money they sourced from donors in the name of Nigeria. We want to see out of what they did with it. And if you give us these accounts, at least let us see what has been going on. Then you plead with them, apologize them, and change your ways. From 16th of October to November 15th, if we don't get those reports for Nigerians to see, we are to court. From 16th of October to November 8th, they get our pre-action letter. That is that by 15th, we're headed, and I'm promising Nigerians that immediately it is that 15th, by the next day, you will hear the lawsuit number, and all of you will gather to that place the day the case will come on and come for defend the money they are used to collect from donors.
Interesting.
Very.
I have very, very, very high respect and regard for the nation. However, as stunned as I am not going to discountenance what she's saying, because even a big organization, perhaps they might be such procedures that might be counterproductive for a nation.
The
Poverty
UN,
capital the world.
The UN,
that.
may please say this. The UN is not a big organization. The UN is the United Nations run through a series of bodies. They have a body for children, they have for agriculture, they have a body for human rights abuses. They have. You can't just say all the UN.
All.
So no, she's not being specific.
No, she said the UN or the United Nations.
For instance, her ministry is relating directly with only one arm of UN. UN Women. There are other ministers relating with other arms of the United Nations, as the case may present. And it's not a statutory thing, but, there are projects, they would want to do, and then there are SDGs we're talking about. Was the UN giving the world a direction to go through? UN don't UN receive donations from donors for countries? That's not something I've ever heard.
No, but how do they make their money? United Nations get all of the fund from countries.
Not donations.
Funding.
Exactly. Countries, for them to keep peace as members of the United Nations, have obligations.
No, but at liberty, some of them to get set organization to support towards a cause.
Towards causes. To partner with.
Okay.
So it's not like taking proposals. UN now is taking proposal to EU.
And
saying, please, EU, we need so and so money. This poor to die in Nigeria. They don't do something before Thursday. they will finish. Can you give us? They don't do it. So, and then when you're making such allegations, you're not talking locally, you're talking internally. This thing is going to make rounds everywhere. Well, you're talking the United Nations.
She called the conference. I want to believe she knows
exactly.
what she's
So she
talking
knows
about.
exactly what she's doing. Now you're making such statements, and then you don't give specifics. You don't know the amount. You don't know for what projects. You don't know what period it covered. Are you saying
She does know the
maybe
period.
that'll be in
She
the
spelled
lost-
between November this time.
that was the
You have to-
the ultimate?
That's the ultimatum
No,
for
That's the ultimatum
timeline.
for them to respond. That's the ultimatum for them to respond. But and then
No, she also didn't mention the between time where they allegedly got money on her
so
behalf.
maybe
that
she knows
needs to
something
account
of us don't know, and we're all ears. I want to hear how you respond to this. The Ministry of Women is a very feisty ministry, and they are going to go to court, and the UN should be.
Some people, as much as it's coming to prominence for talking.
And
Threatening also.
exactly.
I think that's
So
a
there's
strategy.
threats to the hospitals. There's threats to
I mean, I remember the University of Calabar student who alleged
exactly.
that she threatened
There's
the
a
student
threat. I
only
will
to
get-
advise later.
I think a lot of emotion going to some of these things these days, and it's counterproductive for us. If there is a situation, there are very, very many ways of putting it out there, and then reaching out to United Nations, reaching out to the organizations that I feel may have, or finding out the particular agency under the UN, and then streamlining it so that it's not just a statement. So how do you expect the UN to respond to just thinking about it? We just came out of
But
UNGA.
it means that the Nigerian government, through the Minister of Women Affairs,
That is speaking. I
asking
don't-
the United Nations, all of them.
So think about it. If the Nigerian was going to speak to the UN, that should have been a matter of FEC. The FEC have agreed on this matter. She didn't say she's speaking for the Federal Executive Council, which is a speaking body of the government. She did that. She said, I stand here as Minister of Women Affairs and I demand. Her words are clear. And then with an ultimatum, you will get the case number so dates. This is a direct indictment on the United Nations. I think we needed to go that far.
So the better call specify the
Yes.
the part of the United Nations that you're groused
And
with,
then the projects that you're talking about. Give us a bit of specifics.
that they collected money on behalf
exactly.
So is it possible that she's got to reach out to that specific department or head and she didn't give feedback, and this is her final option?
So what is
trial?
It's not a Nigerian country that nobody
It
responds
responds to you. The UN a letter saying, "Oh, this, that." I mean, okay. So we've heard about so and so kinds of projects, and this happened, and we're still following, it, but we will be disappointed here that an agency of the United Nations, such a respected body, would prosecute matters in this manner without results, to the detriment of the Nigerian people. It's a statement. But to say we are going to sue you to get you better respond to us. That's the United Nations you're speaking.
What does it say about putting specialized things into various positions and the fact that there's the pressure and the need to impress some people?
I think the public has its burdens. This is why training is so necessary before you get onto that platform. Even the president himself, I believe that on the day of his inauguration, I'm not so sure he was ready for subsidy gun statement when he made it. Sometimes when you are going off script, you have the chance of maybe firing into the air and then realizing later that maybe I didn't need to go that far. It just feels like also, you have the opportunity to give a best impression. I mean, we're in a season where the FCT minister, for instance, is already making so much headlines. The minister, the coordinator of the economy is making headlines, and you've been there, you're getting 2 months, nothing major. And you go off script, you fire. You need to know that I'm here too. I think that's what's going on. And it's fortunate. These are not offices where you make points. These are not offices just come out and say, "Oh, we're promising the Nigerian people this, that." Because of what importance that a court proceeding of that sort. In fact, I'm wondering what court is it? The international court? Which court are you taking them
the
to?
next question, because it cannot be magistrate court.
You can't take it to CA.
No, but you could actually start from within your jurisdiction and you take it to. It depends on how you escalate.
That means we might be on this case till the minister herself leaves office, because of how long it takes for us to cases. So by the time we get to streamlining what that the problem is, before we get to mess, we get to outcomes, we get to refunds. Okay, if you actually took some monies and we are going
No,
to
she doesn't even tell us this
the specific amount.
So
So what's this case about? The UN took some money, or the UN
they were raising money on our
of how much money?
and we didn't see the
So
impact.
basically, I think I think there's a need for, like I said, of air. I think the president should call a ministerial retreat. They should sit down people who
Training
have been,
for finesse.
finesse, delivery, diplomatic talk, political correctness. All of these things, even though we don't like to hear them,
but
they are very necessary.
Where Nigeria is right now, sometimes that correctness can be too much.
I've gone to threaten the UN. We didn't want to be correct, but I've threatened them. So let's see how
UN,
it
that
goes.
the only Security Council, what was happening in Israel.
Israel.
Then you're dragging the collar.
Taking you to court.
But that to say she doesn't have a case. I'm sure she something heavy and weight.
I think she also put in a clause will save her in case this thing goes south. If you listen to that statement, she said, you either use the reports or you apologize to the Nigerian people and tell them you are sorry. Listen to that statement again. She said, an apology might...
Apology is an admittance of, okay, you use your head to collect money. And you didn't.
So we can eventually have sense of, okay, so we've spoken behind closed doors and this has... That's why we didn't go to court.
But here's also something, because we know that we get a lot of support from the United Nations, from UNICEF to UNIDO, food program, to every aspect of women, where they get a lot of funding. Nigeria is one of those strong beneficiaries of the United Nations. You start to wonder if we're even in any position to
call out the UN, because the Ministry of Women Affairs will never go. Northern Nigeria, for instance, of those villages where
it's
women
the
UN presence you see more UN than you see Nigerian police. You see more UN than you see ministries, departments, or agencies. So where are we calling this from? Really, I don't think we have enough to argue these arguments.
Well, let's see how the UN responds to this and clear their name and apologize if they apologize to us. And it would be nice to know the specific amount and the specific project they collected this money allegedly for, so that we'll know what we're dealing.
I'm even more interested in knowing who they do the UN is.
Yeah, because, I mean, as pristine as we see the United Nations, going by what the minister is saying, it tells you that perhaps, as clean as we think they are, they're not of one or two elements, and they may decide to be a bit shady. Because the impression she's giving me now about the United Nations, we have some shady lots within there who are riding on our poverty state and inadequacies to me, like scam.
Well, so I would rather allegedly. Now I would rather say that so can have certain unscrupulous elements in the UN. Do you remember a UN video from India one time where a UN was moving and people were having a funny? You remember talking about? So they're literally having intercourse on the moving vehicle. They were UN staff in a UN brand vehicle. It made the rounds. It was suspended. You can now do an investigation, pull out of those people, give those names to the organization. The UN structure that works. In a structure, you can actually prosecute an investigation and get redress if that's what you are looking for. But to look at the UN and think that you are just talking to PTA Association of one school in Asokoro, that's not what we're talking. What about the United Nations? If this was even a call to the African Union, I would have still been surprised.
Or
ECOWAS, I would have been surprised. You get, but we're talking. I don't think
it's just day one deadline, so I think in good time we'll be able to get more information.
The UN should be shivering now.
They should be afraid. Very afraid.
All right, then we'll take some phone calls, another story to look at. But let's get to hear about your thoughts, read some messages, and then get to look at the other story. 07951 00 0809 574 869 or 0809 990137.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome. Name?
Yeah, my name is...
Go ahead, Chris.
Jake.
Please, mine is just a question. I want to find out the fate of federal pensioners of this palliative distribution here. Please, let me know. Federal pensioners, what do they benefit? Please, let me know.
A pensioner yourself, Jake?
Yes, I am. And the glory of God.
We thank God for that. All right, let's hear another caller. If you can't reach us via telephone, reach us via WhatsApp.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you move away from your device? We're getting that feedback from you.
Yes. My name is.
Go ahead,
And
Peter.
I'm calling from. This Minister of Women Affairs, is she not the alleged that she was threatening students of UNICA that reported a sexual harassment issue?
Same.
No, she did talk anyhow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
What way to put it?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Oh. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, ITO. Good afternoon, Mr. Kim.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Engineer Ola.
Go ahead.
And good afternoon to our guests as well.
Good afternoon.
You see, Sister Kim, when you people are about palliative, just like what your guest said, it is so, see, to me, I'm not talking about any other person, it is irritating. You know, like irritating. You keep talking about, you want to give somebody something for 2-3 months or this and that. And then we are talking about what you're going to, we are giving you, telling you about, what do you call it, refinery. You're not talking about refinery that is going to sustain everybody a long time, and even the country is going to generate income from it. And then you are talking about, want to feed people. Are we all Almajiris? Because that is what I think this government decided from Muhammad Buhari is what is serious at Almajiri. We'll give them one cup of rice, them conditional time. Can you? No, Kim, you go to the market. You know what is out there in the market these days. Then you talk, and okay, when you do this that many months, then like your guest asks, what at the after that month passed, you will leave them. See, it doesn't make sense to me at all. It's irritating. And then that woman that I was just watching the news now when they were in that clip that she was talking about the UN. See, sometimes, people appoint people that know what they appoint, not what they don't appoint them for. That is just an embarrassment to like Nigeria is a Nigerian minister speaking as if she's speaking on behalf of Nigeria. It doesn't make sense.
All right.
It's not something that we should be talking about. Thank you much.
All right.
But we'll give her a bit of doubt nonetheless as to what she knows that we don't know at the UN. And the Almajiri system, it's not meant to be the Gali one. It's an institution for funding, even though a good number of them are thrown out on the street to provide for themselves. So right now it connotes begging and hunger. It's amongst the face underage poverty and hunger country.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear another caller. Okay, some messages.
All right. Adebare Odoye says the cash transfer is place priority. It's pure rubbish. They're postponing the days. And okay. Olodade Abiyo right here says we have news everywhere, not only in Nigeria. I believe the policies do not Nigeria because the people in government is not sincere with us. They promise one, they end up doing something else. That's what Udade Abiodun is saying. And Emmanuel Engage says, I have made, okay. Talking about the conditional cash transfer, I heard the federal government is about to offset the 9 months old stipends to the N-Power benefits from November. I felt so elated hearing it because I am old and it's an amount that can go a long way. Financial plans, just hoping it becomes a reality, is what I'm saying. All right, and
why did you not hail Mr. Bell, feeling Oga Fortune? I hope you're not joining the National Assembly.
All right. Chris in Apple, I listening to analysts on radio talking about what to do to get Nigeria to El Dorado. I'll see if the country is missing something. They seem to have the answers to all the problems. Deviling us, the media throws up who have the magic wand to make Nigeria work, yet we are stagnated. Okay, many of the analysts can even teach BN governor and all ministers put together the out, or is it just talk? Is the question Chris is asking. And this one from Triple D says, Mr. Integrity has come on what system and structure the great. Mr. Renewed Hope is now in charge. Remember, he promised to continue where Mr. Integrity out. Both of them are operating on a fault system and structure. What do we want? God is what leaders. God bless Nigeria. And this one from Johnson says, we ought to tell the president not to share the huge amount yet because the Nigerian government has new cause of Nigeria. Or Nigerians, if he can give out 25,000 naira to a million households, are the people who are going to get it, except things that will be nominated for this bus, they reach themselves, use the money to refineries or EFCC, monitor the sharing itself. That's what Johnson is saying. Fortune hit the nail on the our leaders know what to do to make Nigeria work, but how do they retain control of the pool if Nigeria is working? Just at different levels and times have weaponized poverty. I believe they definitely want to help or keep the masses so that they can be used. That's what Temi in Kubwa is saying. And Mumbizi giving us a shout as always. Love saying you look take away the speaker. Right. And good afternoon, welcome. I welcome you special. What Godwin from Area 11 is saying. Our guests should help the answers to the following questions. So, question you. GEJ used to pay for subsidy, and the same guy was accused of being very corrupt, but the standard was way better than we are facing. Secondly, a barrel of crude sold for as high as $100 and above, yet the price of PS was $190. What was the magic that being done compared to the price right now? Thirdly, the head of the AFDB, Dr. Adina, was the agric minister, and farmers got fertilizers directly, and there was enough food in spite of the insecurity in the north. Why get it right now? Are the question at Godwin in Area 11. Okay.
Well, difficult question. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, the economic situation in Nigeria during just completely different from what they are right now. Our many of those things. Our naira was not as devalued as it is now at that time. You know, and the truth was, yes, some of the things that the president needed to do at that time, the president is doing, taking those hard decisions, removing subsidy, you know, doing all the economic stuff, you know, the Economic Council coming up with, you know, roadmap after the other, trying to...
It seemed like a gamble, like the float in the night. Unfortunately, it
backfired. You know, all manner of things happening, but we're not seeing that, you know, I mean, if you ask me, this particular government has taking the bull by the horns, trying to deal with the actual issues and doing it head on from the beginning. What a lot of us are saying, what I am saying is probably should have thought it a little more. You know, some of the methods will eventually be counteractive if we are not careful.
Yeah.
So, nobody is saying everybody they should know what to do. It's not to govern Nigeria with the kind of hole we've dug ourselves into. Look at the budget projection for next year. We're somewhere around 6 trillion.
We're going to get that.
How? How? Look at revenue last year, you know, we're just around 10 to 12 trillion. It means that our deficit is growing. Debt servicing, the government is talking increasing the amount we are committing to debt servicing. So it means that we are going to be paying more of our debts than we're going to be doing capital projects. So how to get things going? So I mean, I think we recognize some of these realities, but also certain things that you know that we are doing will not last. So why do we do it?
That's an important question. All right, we're still around, so we'll take a break quickly for news at the top of the hour, and when we return, but we're waiting for the newscaster to settle in. If you're on Facebook, so maybe the Minister of Women Affairs some information we don't. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. We need to follow up the case anyway. And Sunday, Kazachian as I'm afraid the overzealousness of the woman in the Ministry of Affairs will soon kick out of the cabinet. That's his fear. Agula says, good afternoon, I greet you all. Hello to the studio. Moazu John Lassisi is on Facebook. If you missed the first hour of conversation, go check us out on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. We still got the mayor for Agula with us. After the news, we'll take a look at one more story and hear from you. Stay with us.
This is Nigeria Info.